So as I start to record this, I'm pretty sure this will never see the light of day, but when it does, I think I'm going to post this unedited. I hope I'm ready. Okay, let's get started. So this is episode 1 of my series called A Kenyan Guide to Men. It's just a Kenyan perspective to men in relationships, romantic ones or interpersonal ones, your brothers, your fathers. Yeah, I'm just going to give you perspective, I'm going to give you advice, and I'm going to give you stories about men in Kenya. I will be concentrating more in Nairobi because this is where I am. I am going to have a lot of Nairobi love stories, Kanairo love stories. So you're all ready for this? I hope you are. First story is going to be about myself. I'd rather introduce myself and talk about my relationship experience. I am single at the moment. That's true. I'm single. I'm a cat mom. I live with my mom. Am I employed? I am employed. I am self-employed and also looking for employment. Yay. Isn't the 21st century quite amazing? Anyway, I have what? I am a computer nerd. I love comps. I love games. I work in the esports event space, but I want to be an amazing. I want to be the number 1 game master in Kenya. So I'm working on that. I am a content creator by hobby and design. I practice a lot of digital marketing. 2020 was a very interesting period of my life. I never thought I would end up doing digital marketing or content creation. To be honest, I didn't think I will end up in the event space as a form of employment. I do have a psychology degree that I wish to use eventually. I want to end up doing forensic psychology if I have the chance, or criminal psychology, either or. I want to end up in research. That's my dream. And yeah, that's about it on my end. Now, why do I want to discuss men is what someone else would ask. I want to discuss men because I like men. I love men. I don't want to say I'm very manly. No, I'm not going to say the fact that I have male friends as an advantage. In a sense it is, but also because I do understand male perspectives and female perspectives differently. Do I have experience being a guy? I don't, but I do know I am always the guy in a relationship, and if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I do attract a lot of effeminate men to me. I'm not saying I have masculine energy, but I do have a ton of it. I have a lot of feminine energy too. Let's just say I don't want to say I'm androgynous because I don't look that sexy. I wish I was in both aspects. I don't want to say my hormonal imbalance gives me an advantage to understand what testosterone does. It doesn't. But I just like men, and I like talking about men. And when men are discussed, sex is always up front, and I like that too. Like I said, my first episode is going to be about me, and I don't know where to start. So I'm just going to start with my character development stories, the things that made me understand men differently, in a sense. My first relationship was when I was, I think, in class 8. I was 12, 13 at that point in time. I had just moved out from the barracks to where I am now, this estate I'm living in. I met this cute Kamba boy. He drove me nuts. We dated, and I remember It was back then. If you were class 8, you had to have this file that had like past papers. I was collecting past papers, and I had this. So my dad my dad used to work in the armed forces, and you know there were this big black files that had like metal brackets, metal clips, like you would put the papers in, and then they had this big like chuma pulley thing that you'd pull down and it'll clamp, and the file was huge. So I had that file. I had collected several past papers since I think class 4. So I had a lot from different years and all that stuff. And I remember he borrowed it like a month to KCPE. Sorry, KCPE. I was in class 8. Yeah, KCPE. He borrowed it from me. And then I remember a week to exams, I walked to his house and I came and I asked him, "Oi, bruv, you've got my file. I want to do some studying. Can I get it?" Nigga was like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, I lost it kwa mat," because he used to alikuwa napanda mat kwenda chuo. He was in Busara, that one in Umoja. Yes, he was in Busara, I was in Moi Air Base. So yeah, so he told me he lost it in the mat. And I don't know, since I was a kid, I was very understanding. I could actually picture him losing it, like how I lose an umbrella in a matatu. And I was like, "Oh, it's cool, it's fine, thanks, I'll just find someone else to help me with past papers. I hope it helped you, and I hope you passed the exams," which he did, dickhead. I mean, I did pass, it's not like I didn't pass, but yeah, which he did. And then I remember a week later, after we were done with KCPE, we were coming back, and we had broken up, because I remember we did fight about that file, and we broke up because of that file. Because before I got understanding, I remember I got angry, we fought a little bit, and I think we broke up after that. And I remember a week after exams, I got a knock at the door. Back then, my mom would open the gate, but this time she wasn't around. I was there. I opened the gate, and then I met this girl called Susan. She was a neighbor. I didn't know. Remember, I just moved in like the year before, and being the introvert that I was, I had barely left the house to make rounds and make adventures and figure out where everything is. I knew this guy because my mom knew his mom, and I remember the first time we were here, we went there to say prayers, and that's when I saw him. Blah blah blah. So this chick knocks my gate, and then she has my file. My file, very simple. It has my name on it, with all the love heart bullshit thrown around it. And he was like, "Oh, Sam gave me this. I thought I would give it back to you now." And yeah, like, end of story. That was my first character development. So it wasn't huge, but it was huge. It was really significant, because I was like, dickhead gave it to someone who would have just said he gave it to some like he could have just told me he gave it to a friend, and it would have been fine, you know? Like I had no sense of jealousy back in the day, so he kind of destroyed that for himself. That was one. I did a couple of other people in my life in high school. Nilipiga mtu character development yake ya kwanza, I think I was in form 3 until I met my, can I say, course number 1 ya character develop, like proper. Hiyo kwanza ilikuwa training, hiyo ilikuwa tutorial. This was career mode, campaign mode. Yeah, character development. So I was dating this guy. This guy was from Patch. Then I met this guy from Apa. I broke up with the guy from Patch, of course, and so I hang out with this guy from Apa. This guy was nice. Like, he was nice to me. He was different. He had gray eyes. He had like light ass skin. He told me he was half Canadian, half Kikuyu. So I was so intrigued. We hung out Maramob. Like, he was a friend to my neighbor, so I used to see him all the time. He was into rap back then. He was going to be a rapper, and I was like, yeah. I mean, I've always been attracted to creative people. Hadisai, I know that. And I don't care about it. I love creative people. And then he was hella creative. Alikuwa na flow, alikuwa na speech rhymes. I remember I used to perform. He was in JKUAT Juja back then. I was in JKUAT Karen. I remember I used to come from Karen to Juja just to watch him perform or just spend time with him. But that was just before everything went wrong. So we met in class 8. I was in class 8. I broke up with my then boyfriend. Started hanging out with him. That 1 year was amazing because he would come over during like holidays and whatnot. We'll hang out at my friend's place, would rub each other out. Like, we never used to have sex, but I did used to give him hand jobs, and I did give him a blowjob once, and I hated it because he was hairy. But then again, it was just my first one, so I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, and we finished high school. We went to uni. He went to JKUAT Juja. Like I said, I went to Karen. And I remember when I went to Karen, because I remember I went to Karen in January. I did a short course in mathematics, bridging maths, because I really sucked at Mao. So after bridging, my classes started in May. And that May was the year I was turning 18. And I was like, hell yeah, I have a boyfriend. I'm turning 18. I am losing my virginity this time, hands down. I had a boyfriend. I had, you know what I mean? So I was excited. I was super excited. And then I remember we made plans to meet, and then he canceled on me. I was disappointed, but it wasn't like a big deal. I was also excited to have new friends in uni, people I've never seen. And I remember one guy from my class. It was the weekend because my birthday was on a Saturday, but I decided to party on a Friday. And I remember him inviting me over for drinks because I told him my plans were cancelled and it was my birthday. He was like, "Oh, don't celebrate your birthday by yourself. Come spend time with me." So, with us, because it was him and a friend. He had a guy friend. So I left Karen, I think it was around 6-ish. Yeah, I had to cook something. I was staying in a hostel with my sister, so I had to do my due diligence there before I left. Was it? No, I hadn't moved in yet. Yes, I hadn't moved in with my sister. I was staying with one. Oh, this is how it happened when I joined uni in JKUAT Karen. My mom really hired it up. I was doing business and IT. I hated that course. So before the hostel that my sister was in had space, I had to spend time with one of my lecturers. I'd say lecturers, or she worked in the school, but my mom knew her through my sister. Either way, I was staying with her in one of the 7 quarters in one of those big houses in Karen. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't fun, trust me. So anyway, that day it was my first week, so I was there. I was supposed to be there for like a month before I moved with my sister. So I left that place, got a mat, and went to Size in LA. That Size in LA is where there was bars right next to it, I remember, but we went to Size. Let's just say I did lose my virginity that day, but it wasn't consensual. Simple. I didn't want it to happen that way, but it happened. I don't want to say he took advantage of me. I mean, back then I felt that way, but it was just a stupid move. We were stupid kids. Stupid things happened, and I lost my virginity that way. Sure. I remember being very devastated and going, I think it was like the next weekend, and going to tell my boyfriend what happened, and him getting really angry and wanting to beat up this boy, and me be like, "Oh, I don't want problems. I don't want people to know what happened. Just let it be. I don't know what happened. I don't know how that destroyed whatever that it was. But thing is, I didn't destroy anything because that day he didn't cheer up for my birthday. He was fucking someone else who got pregnant. So big deal. Yeah. And it turned out that nigga wasn't even Canadian Kikuyu. He was straight up albino. I just didn't know what an albino looked like back then. I knew an albino had like weird orange hair, like he had normal black hair. He had gray eyes. So I kind of believed him until I met his sister, and then kind of figured that I was being played. So that's boy number 2. I'm actually every time I tell that story I start laughing and crying. I'm glad I didn't. happen this time. Character development number 3. There were so many in between. Most of them are not people I dated, they're just people I was fucking at that point in time. I did I have slept with people's boyfriends, I have slept with people's husbands. I've done that, I've done all that. I'm not gonna pretend to be nice. I did date an old white guy who's kind of interesting. He was interesting. He was American, so he wasn't all that fascinating, but he was an interesting lay. He was my first introduction to vibrators, so yay, awesome. I did date a Kenyan-born British ex-colonizer boy. He was nice. I broke his heart. Gamer. He was sweet. He was sweet. I feel very bad about it. I broke his heart. He went to SA. So, wow. Okay, so that's me giving character development. And then recently, because I don't remember the rest, the other people, I've slept with so many people I don't remember who's who. I have had enough character development that do not cross my mind, because I wasn't in that state to realize that was what was happening until my recent ex, that historia can be another day. I can't even start, because I just think about him, I get angry, so I'm not going to talk about him now. I just want to talk about, I just want to say that relationships are weird. Kenyan men are weird. I mean, like, genuinely, and especially those born and raised in Nairobi. I would like ningependa social go, but I don't think I can stand them. The conservativeness is not my thing. So just anyway, simply what I'm going section, Iote, the Kenyan Guide to Men, is just a place where I'll be sharing silly love stories from Nairobi, things that happen in relationships in Nairobi, both intimate, both friends, it's most likely just gonna be me trying to find a way to smarten up gossip. So is it gonna be interesting? I hope so. I hope I give you a chance to listen to fun stories and listen to advice from my perspective, different perspectives. I believe in different perspectives. I believe there's 3 sides to any story. There's your side, my side, and the real side, the real story, kwa real, kwa ground. So I'm hoping that this tiny segment, trust me, in my first recording, I called it the Guide to Kenyan Men. And I realized I'm not giving you a guide to men. I am giving you a Kenyan guide to men. So that's why I changed the name. Either way, I hope you enjoy this. I have been fighting about putting this on my main podcast channel or creating a channel on its own, so I'm just going to place it here to start with. If it does make sense to move it, I will move it to a different segment on its own, but I think I'm just going to use this main podcast channel to share the stories, because I think they're all interconnected either way, because it's a story about my life and the people around my life. I have an interesting story about my mom and her boyfriend, so I don't know where I'm going to share that. I have interesting story about my sisters and their husbands before they were husbands, so I'm gonna share that too. I have interesting story about the girls who were my friends who end up not being my friends. I'll share that too. Well, basically what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna share my life story about men, and in a way, one way or another, create a guide to men in this country. If you ever want to end up dating anyone from Nairobi, be it expert, be it foreigner, be it local, be it different tribe, I hope I give you enough perspective to help you tread this Kanairo love pond Thames river thing with peace of mind and knowledge and just use my knowledge and advice as a tool and resource to wade whatever messy sewage love dam this is. Nairobi is weird. Nairobi is very different. The interpersonal and intimate relationship phenomenon we've created here is on a league of its own. It is already recognized nationwide as a thing. It's like when a guy, a foreigner in New York, tells you about Caribbean men in New York and how they love and how they're just red flags walking. And that's what I want to show you. Nairobi men are red flags walking. It's just that we can't live with them and we can't live without them. And some red flags are better than others. But it's just how we tread around them and how we ignore them. Which ones we choose to ignore and which ones we must not ignore is where I will work with. Red flags are important. I am saying this because I can attest to it. My experience of ignoring red flags has had a huge impact in my life. Huge fucking impact. Good and bad. So I want to at least help people. Not people, I want to help you. Fuck people. I want to help you. Whoever's listening to this, I want to help you the way no one helped me. I want to help you avoid wading in shit every day. I want you to live your best life. And I want to live a best life. So, yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of this introduction. I don't want to say more. I don't want to do more. I hope you enjoy this as much as I enjoy making this and creating this. I don't know how well this will go. I am really bad at mouth seething. I am definitely going to be flagged for profanity and stuff. Good thing this podcast is over 18 is all I'm saying. Either way, I'm asking you guys to help me out. Just help me out, point me to the right direction, point me to anyone who wants, or if you want advice, if you want me to give you advice or give you a different perspective of your situationship or your relationship, or you want to be validated in one way or another, I would suggest you reach out to me, and we can catch up and maybe even create a topic around you, or even have you come on and have me help you and we both help other people. So hit me up, let me know. Go to my link tree on my description and follow me on socials. If you want to follow me on everyday stuff, you'll find me on Instagram mostly. My Facebook is just Chris posting, so do not try to communicate with me through Facebook. If you really want to find me, I will tell you, find me on Instagram DM. WhatsApp is rarely used also. I am in the esports industry, so I do organize gaming tournaments. So if you want to talk about anything esports related, gaming related, I am so game. I'm definitely going to have a couple of episodes about games that I'm trying to play. I went back to Retro Sheet and I found the very first game that got me into gaming. I'm going to make an entire episode of that. How exciting it was and how different gaming is now than it was then. Either way, it is great to talk to you guys again. I am definitely upping up my game. I feel very confident right now behind this microphone. I hope it shows. Either way, here's to consistency and persistence. Yeah, stay perfectly imperfect for now, until we move to a different podcast section channel. That's all for me. Anyway, that's all for me. I hope to see you guys. That's all for me for now. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.